and take care of and kill this thing basically. So point the beam at this, break off the woven ward. When that does that, this is now vulnerable. DPS will kill this, which will make these lines go away, and now we have a safe area. Is essentially how it's going to look like. So that's kind of it for tanks. The only other thing in phase 1 is there's going to be these tethers. When you get tethered, it does pull you into the boss. So even as a range, if you stand out here, it basically does you no good. You're going to get gripped back into the boss. And then you just have to run it to the outside of the room. You'll break the tether, and then you'll drop this web. It's basically Ansarek webs, just less punishing, but they do grow. So these things will get slowly bigger and end at like a medium maximum size. So that's kind of it for phase 1. There's nothing really going on. So kill these little ward thingies and drop these tethers on the outside. He does do this like giant ass circle that's like a huge get out and get to the outside of the room, but that's kind of obvious what to do. So phase 2. Sorry, go ahead.
I just said it's Scooter Lady.
Oh yeah. Okay, so phase 2. He starts in the middle of the room, and basically he breaks himself off from his carcass, or his abdomen, and this is just like his blood dripping on the ground. So there's just area of denial wherever the boss goes. So as this boss moves, like, there's just more of these blood circles that follow him around. These webs will still be on the outside of the room, so there are slightly area of denial things along with this purple blood as the boss moves. There's things on the ground to dodge. Just dodge them. And then this tank frontal, which is a group soak. So essentially there's going to be a group 1 and a group 2. There's potentially going to be a group 1, 2, 3, and 4, depending on how hard this hits when it goes live. And essentially every time you take this frontal, the next damage you take from that frontal gets amplified by like 25% or something like that. But we'll probably kill it fast enough where we only have to do 2 groups. So the way I was seeing groups do this was one of 2 ways. So they were either pointing it like this towards the wall, and the reason they were doing it that way was because there were other things for the group to dodge. So the group could be over here. Or they were flipping it around and pointing it this way, which would put the group over here, and they'd have things to dodge. I think the better way to do it is to point it towards the wall, because it allows this group to keep moving as the boss moves around the room like this. That way you're always just like backpedaling around the room, and it's just easier to dodge as things start falling from the sky. And that's it. That is the entire boss. So
the one thing with the soak is that at the very least Turtle didn't work. I think they were saying that true immunities did, but Turtle reflection shit like that. So you can have like because the damage amp starts. If we wanted to, for the first one, we could do some sort of immunity soak early so that the damage stays lower or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Turtle still works.
Yeah.
So I would assume like dispersion won't work either.
Yeah. And then just because, again, early fight, so potentially there's a mythic potential weak 1 for us. The only thing that gets added to this phase is there's going to be purple circles that go on people. It's just don't have your friends inside of them. It's an individual mechanic. Just take it out of the group. And that's kind of about it. This soak on Mythic has to have at least 5 people in it. If 5 people are not in it, the boss gets a shield equivalent to the amount of damage that it did to the raid. So, I don't know. Pretty big shield, probably. And then on Mythic for phase 1, these little side things will spawn this little crystal thing, and it's basically a easier version of Mythic Avatar for anybody that did that fight, where it's going to shoot out this little purple beam, and it has to be soaked by a player. It can't reach the boss. If it reaches the boss, it does raid-wide damage, and essentially every single time we do a round of these tethers, it adds another crystal. So it starts with 1, and then like a second one will show up over here, and then it'll be a third, and so on and so forth. And then also this little tether circle, instead of there just being 1 circle, there's now 2. So the tanks will have to break, let's say, this one right here, and then they will also have to break a second one right next to it. So there's going to be a double tank frontal. So you'd break one, and then you'd break another one that's in the same lane, so to speak, as this one. They are offset, so there's no possible way you can do something like this where you hit 2 with 1 tank frontal. But that's it. That is the fight.
Those lines you can't immune through while you're soaking.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't see about like this tether thing is if you can jump over it, or I know you can blink over it. I don't know if you can like Havoc DH Vengeful Retreat over it or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I did see a warrior try and it didn't work, but I don't like DH jump might be high enough.
Yeah. So anyways, so this is the infusion tether. It grips you in. You just run to the outside and break it. I'll let you guys watch it one more time so you can see how it yanks you in. It does show you before you get yanked in that you have been tethered. This is the tank frontal, so it's untargetable, and now it is targetable. That's all it is. This right here is the runaway circle. It's a pretty basic WoW mechanic. Just get to the outside of the room. Melee, get fucked. It is an 8-second long cast, so it's not like it's like an emergency Warlock 8 situation. Intermission, these purple circles fall, and he does like do a pushback thing, so just be aware of that. This is the frontal soak, and this is them pointing it to the outside of the room. It doesn't leave behind like any webs or anything. And then he does do a pushback during phase 2, which obviously can push you into bad things if your positioning is bad. So if you're a ranged DPS, whenever you see these purple circles fall, the worst thing you can do is go towards boss. You want to go away from boss, is how I would tell you to play it. And that's it. Any questions about Loomi'thar?